come on. I need to release some of my pent-up anger, and so do you.
Let's go.
Isn't your mom that heifer claiming to be the alpha's mate?
As soon as he uttered those words, I realized I acted so fast. My left foot is currently on a boy's throat, and his friends are staring at me in shock and fear. I honestly don't want to be in this position, since it would make my mom look bad because she promised Alpha, dumbass, we wouldn't hurt any of his pack members, but at the same time, he didn't hold up his end of the deal. Or this shrimp wouldn't have the guts to be talking about my mom the way he just did. I sighed, deciding that I'll let him off just this once, because I'm exhausted and I don't have the time for this bullshit. Now look here, I'm gonna take my foot off your neck and just walk away. But hear me and hear me well. If I ever hear a whisper that you or anyone else say anything disrespectful about my mom, I will kill you. If you try to attack me when I walk off, I will kill you, and if you talk about my mom when I'm gone, I'll kill you. Do you understand? I asked, emitting my power. He shook his head rapidly, showing he understood, so I stepped off him immediately and walked back to the pack house, leaving the group of teenage kids terrified. As soon as I stepped into the pack house, I sensed my mom in the kitchen along with Aunt Genevieve, so I headed in that direction. "Hey Mama," I said, placing a kiss on her cheek. "Hey Aunt Jen," I waved to my aunt. "Hey Alessandro," they both replied with my mom smiling at me. "What's got you happy and smiling all of a sudden?" I questioned skeptically. "Nothing. I'm just proud of you for handling that situation without violence," she told me. "Wait, you saw that?" I asked, surprised. "We both did. This time it was Aunt Genevieve who spoke. And we're glad you didn't crush Mike's trachea," she said, smiling sheepishly. "So that's his name," I thought to myself. "Yeah, well, that's what he gets for calling Mama heifer," I told them angrily. "Don't worry about anything. They say me bambino. I could care less. Remember that we're only here for the wedding, and we'll be gone soon," Mom told me. "I know, Mom, but Alpha dumbass didn't hold up his end of the bargain, so if I kill someone, he can't have any issues with it. Now, Alessandro, just let them be. They're not worth our time." "Okay, fine. I promise I won't harm anyone else." "Good," she replied, getting up to go to the sink. "Unless it's necessary," I say, finishing my sentence. Mom stops in her tracks and turns, glaring at me and Aunt Genevieve, who was trying and failing miserably to hide her chuckle. Ignoring us, she made her way to the sink to wash her dish out. Uncle Germain walked into the kitchen, and Mom and Aunt Genevieve started acting so weird, sharing glances and smiling at each other. Then there was Uncle Germain, who kept eyeing Mom, secretly thinking we all don't know he's got the hots for my mom. Okay, you guys, this weirdness is starting to creep me out. First of all, Mom stops acting like a blushing teenager every time Uncle Germain looks at you. It's weird. Aunt Genevieve, quit holding in your laugh, your lungs might explode. And Uncle Germain, if you want to ask Mom on a date, just do it. I'm already tired of hearing Mom and Aunt Genevieve whisper about how much you guys like each other. Oh, and when you guys are gonna do the dirty, please don't do it in our room. And I also don't want to walk in on you guys kissing. That's gross. I say, walking out of the kitchen, leaving them with their mouths wide open. Ha, bet they thought they were being discreet. Old people are so obvious. I walk up the stairs to the second floor, heading for Alpha Dumbass office. When I reached the big wooden doors, I knocked twice and waited until I heard someone come in before I opened the doors and walked in. I see the third in command, Jeffrey or Jason, whatever his name is, sitting in front of the desk, both of them staring at me. "What can I help you with?" "Alessandro, I sure hope there aren't any problems with you and my pack members. I heard about you and Mike, and I appreciate you not harming him. I also would like to apologize for his behavior," he said, looking at me. "I don't need your appreciation. I didn't do it for you. I did it because my mom would be upset. And by the way, next time, I won't hesitate because you haven't been holding up your end of the deal. And I'm not the one you should be apologizing to. It's my mom. But I didn't come here to talk about that," I say, my words lacing with venom. His gamma stood up immediately, puffing out his chest and staring me down, trying to intimidate me. I return his gaze as we both stare each other down intensely. My wolf and I refuse to back down, seeing as we have alpha blood.
Who do you think you are, pup, speaking to the alpha with such disrespect? You are not even a member of our pack. He could throw you out at any second.
He shouts at me using his gamma tone. My wolf didn't like that. He was trying to make us submit because alphas submit to no one. I growl loudly and said, I am Alessandro Raphael Parker, son of Rosalind Reagan Parker. And unfortunately, alpha dipshit over here, and I ain't give a damn if he's an alpha or not. He's not my alpha, so he isn't entitled to my respect, and respect is earned, not given. I see him flinch because of my alpha tone, and I smirk as he holds his head down in submission. But I could still see the anger in his eyes. Enough, Alpha Dumbass roared. James, you may leave to continue with your duties now. Yes, Alpha, the Gamma replied, then left. Alessandro, what did you come here to talk about? He asked, frustrated. You have a developing rogue problem, I say bluntly. What do you mean? I have a developing rogue problem? He asks. I sigh, realizing he's a slowpoke and is gonna have to do a lot of talking. It's obvious, isn't it? Uncle Michael said you guys haven't had rogues issues in a while. Then they came back and they're not fighting as rogues normally do. They attack in groups and their fighting styles are more tactical. Either rogue became less feral overnight or they have a leader. Your pack is one of the strongest in the US, so it's only natural. They target your pack, also you might have a mole. How else would the rogues have made it that far on the pack lands without patrol noticing? How dare you? He shouts. Can't say I didn't expect that reaction. I'd be worried if he hadn't reacted this way. First you come here and you attack me. Then you attack my pack members and now you're accusing them of being traitors? I should throw you out of my pack right now. If your uncle wasn't my beta and I didn't respect him as much as I did, I would have thrown you out instantly. I suggest you leave my office before I lose my temper, he said, shaking with anger and eyes flashing, showing his wolf was fighting for control. Look, I know you don't like me, and believe me when I say I hate you to my core. But I'm not one to sit by and let innocent people be massacred. I know what I'm talking about. These rogues are attacking with purpose and they have help. It's your pack, so I can't tell you what to do, but this is something I've done before. I know how these things work. I've seen it happen before, but you don't have to listen to me. Just know that if your pack is attacked on a larger scale next and members die, that is on you also. Your pack members need to train harder, their fighting sucks, and you guys need to train the females to fight as well. Leave, his voice boomed, shaking the walls in his office. His alpha tone was evident, but I didn't move an inch. I just sat there giving him a bored look. You are my son, aren't you? He half whispered. No shit, Einstein, I retorted. Whether you have alpha blood or not, and even if you're not a pack member, you should have at least flinched when I shouted. But you're just sitting there as nothing happened, he says in disbelief. First of all, there is only one alpha tone in this world that I or my mom listens to. And that's our alphas, so don't think it's because I'm your son. No, it's because my wolf is strong enough to resist. As per what I was saying earlier, maybe you don't have a mole. That part isn't clear, but I do know you have a rogue problem. If you still don't believe me, then check in with the other surrounding packs and see. You know where to find me when you've pulled your head out of your father's ass. And stop trying to impress him and start protecting your pack, I told him as I walked out the door. As I walked down the hallway, a bone-chilling scream made its way to my ears. I ran in the direction the scream was coming from and entered a room to see a little girl around 12 years old, curled in a fetal position on the floor beside a wheelchair. When she looked at me, I suddenly had the urge to protect her. I ran to her and scooped her up in my arms. I saw tears in her eyes as she whispered, "Help me." I knew she was my aunt because she resembled her mom a lot. Her bones started rearranging and I knew she was shifting. How come there's no one here to help her? Didn't they prepare for this all-wolves shift at 12, for fuck's sake? I gently picked her up and ran with her outside. I laid her on the grass as I spoke to her. "What's your name, sweetie?" "Isabel Black, but everyone calls me Izzy," she replied, her voice hoarse from screaming. "Okay, Izzy, I'm Alessandro, and I'm your nephew," I say, smiling at her. "I know," she replied. "Why didn't anyone prepare you for this? Aren't you 12 years old?" I asked. "Prepare me for what? What's happening to me? And I'm 16, not 12. I suffer from a sickness that caused me to be unable to walk by myself, and it also shrunk my growth spurt, so I look smaller than I am. To say I was shocked would be the understatement of the century. Well, I apologize for mixing up your age, but you're shifting. That's why you're in so much pain, but because you are sick, it probably is more painful than normal. It will take at least 3 hours before your shift, I told her. What? I can't be shifting. I mean, yes, I'm a wolf, but the doctor said if I shift, it might kill me. Because my body can't handle it, so they gave me injections to prevent me from doing so. And I can't endure this amount of pain for 3 hours, she replied, scared. Hey, don't worry. Okay, I'll help you through it, and when you feel like it's too much, you tell me, okay? And I'll take some of the pain away. She nodded at me as her spine started reshaping, and a blood-curdling screaming left her lips. She gripped onto me, and I could see tears in her eyes. She was trying to hold on, but I could tell she was losing consciousness. Furs started to sprout and her mouth reshaping, changing as well. When I saw she was about to faint, I stuck my claws in the back of her neck and started taking her pain away. This is a delicate procedure, and if it's done incorrectly or interrupted, could kill both of us. I was so focused on Izzy, I didn't even realize we were being surrounded until I heard my mom call out to me. She was saying something, but I couldn't hear her due to how intense Izzy's pain was. I know I'm probably taking too much, and it might overwhelm me, but I have to Sheikah and handle this much pain, not yet at least. All of a sudden, I felt someone rip my hands from Izzy's neck. Her scream was the last thing I heard before I fell into darkness.